A farm that needs my ever-loving attention. A whole new island to go out and explore. The bane of my existence to keep finding. Yep, Stardew Valley is back. Here we go out on an adventure to learn more about this strange but cute little valley and try to become an absolute legend once more. Welcome and enjoy. I awake to a quest from Clint asking if I can bring him an iron bar, then spend some time with my lovely farm animals to make sure they're all cozy. Then I cook up an omelette and check out the cooking recipes we've got to get through. In town, I take my booty over to the weekly quest board and grab one to collect up some bug meat, before doing a round of gifts about town and giving Clint that iron bar as well. In town, I walked in on Shane holding a camera up to both Emily and Clint. Totally not jealous of Emily here, I promise. I cleared my head with another load of gifting to everyone I could find. Then got cracking on collecting all that bug meat for Willy down in the mines. I sold off the excess junk to the guild, checked in on our eradication goals, and finally shipped anything off for the night. Nothing exciting earned for the day, but plenty to come, I promise. Day 102, and the lovely Evelyn was at the door giving me a plant pot as well as the recipe. Then I read a letter from Abby asking me to meet her in their room after dark, and another telling me about the Feast of the Winter Star. My bug meat onslaught continued well into the day, taking on the grub things as much as possible. Then it was gift time in the evening and grabbing a quest for Demetrius too. I had also remembered to grab all the old junk to sell off to the guild before sleeping it all off, earning 6.5 grand. The morning blessed me with algae soup recipe, a quick visit to the trader who once again didn't have much for me, and a swift trip into the secret woods for the hardwood. Bug meat was still needed. Then I did some casual fishing for the quest, netting a treasure chest and some rare rocks. At the farm I potted around doing the odd job. Then at bedtime I hit level 9 foraging and a lovely 14k too. As I woke on this frosty, bitter morning, my harvest was ready. From weird winter flowers to crystal fruits. Then I had to replant what I had to keep the money flowing. I had accumulated a fair few geodes, so I went off to Clint to smash the suckers open. This reminds me every time of when I used to buy Pokemon cards as a kid. Excited to see what I get. Only one was worthy of the museum though. Passing through, I grabbed a quest for the wizard to slay ghosts, then gave that fish to Demetrius, earning the networking achievement. I quickly slayed the 2 ghosts and grabbed a bunch of bug meat whilst here. Another decent day in the bag. Day 105 greeted me with some mail from Robin needing 10 hardwood, and a new odd looking chick had hatched. Tim. The greenhouse had also blessed us with some lovely aubergines too. On the way to the wizard, I grabbed a rare seed from the trader, then got that juicy ticket from the wizard. Bug meat in hand, I also went over to Willy in his box to hand it all over, completing the weekly quest too. Ready with my 2 tickets, I clicked the prize giver, receiving a new cap and a fish smoker, then gave Robin the 10 hardwood too. My 1 rare seed excited me to get going, so I gave it the special greenhouse corner. For the rest of the day, I zoomed around the farm, clearing out bits of the junk, rearranging all of my storage and tidying up, as well as getting a new smaller farm area prepped for planting. Don't ask me why, in the winter alright. A solid performance for the day as the money slowly but surely increased. Day 106, and it's only now that I managed to find Linus his basket. I guess he can use it next spring at least, right? I was out wandering over to Linus when I noticed what seemed to look like footprints in the snow. They led into a bush. Krobus was inside. Here you are, Linus. I never miss a quest when the board has them. Perch for Marnie. Then I purchased 3 books from the bookseller, The Woodcutter Weekly, The Way of the Wind Part 1, and the price catalogue. It was also time to decide on another weekly quest, so I grabbed the Rock Rejuvenation. I spent an hour clearing some hay at the farm, then handed all the precious gems over to Emily, unlocking the Best Friends achievement too. In excitement, I went out giving rounds of gifts like a known Santa, before scurrying off to the sewers to catch me a mutant carp. I also purchased a Star Drop from Krobus and got that delicious thing right inside me. By the power of Star Drop, subscribe to me. A modest earnings for the day, but a fair bit ticked off. Day 107 and the powder melon things were ready to be harvested. Not much more farming to do just yet though. Pam had sent me the recipe for stuffing. I love stuffing. Lewis also told me how I could marry someone using a mermaid's pendant. Emily sent me a sewing machine. Marnie told me about getting more pets, and Lewis sent me 500 gold. I did some brewing with the cranberries for some juicy wine, gave Marnie her fish for the quest, and sprinted off to earn my ticket reward, 4 treasure troves. Here we go. Opening my lovely saved treasure over and over, managing a total of 3 more artifacts for the museum. When I popped down to the beach, Willie was there fishing up a storm with a full stack of bug meat next to him. Pretty grim to be honest, but he's happy I guess. He taught me the quality bobbercraft for the efforts. Over in the secret woods for that hardwood again, then off back to the farm for a serious session, shaving sufficient wood while we work. Yes, the most pointless bit of rhyming there, but you had to listen to it, eh? I popped the artisan achievement for crafting 30 different items, then put my head down for the night, exhausted. In the morning, I spent a little time just looking over everything we had left to collect in each section. It was really coming along nicely. Then Lewis sent a note reminding of the Feast of the Winter Star too. I also bought myself a ticket to the desert, and my mate Pam still happily makes me pay 500 quid a pop. I gave Sandy a gift, then perched up a variety of cactus and rhubarb seeds. Then delved deep into the abyss, finding some notes about people living in Stardew, murdering dinos, and another about checking a bush on the last day of season. At home, I set a dino egg for incubation and finished off day 108. In the morning, I cracked on with planting rhubarb in the greenhouse, then headed into town for the festival Lewis mentioned, but the shop didn't really have anything I wanted. I went on over and gave Diamond to Penny as her special gift, then received a jade from my mate Pam. At home, I quickly organised, then scurried off to bed earning a decent little amount. Day 110, I was awoke to a quest from Gus to catch an albacore, and the greenhouse had blessed me with a plentiful harvest to attend to. I then noticed I had a Jack B. Nimble book to read too. Down in the meadows below the farm, Penny was having a picnic with the kids and doing some teaching. She's sweet. In another life, Penny. I popped in to see Marnie after for an auto grabber, then went around doing a little foraging and shopping. I also made my way up to see Robin and see what I could spend some cash on and build. I settled on a shed for where I could start my brewing. After I gifted Clint for his birthday, then I fished up a tiger trout for Willie as requested and finished off by delighting everyone once more. A progressive day and a comfortable profit keeps coming. On day 111, my winter forage growth was all ready for picking. I knocked up some seeds and Linus taught me how to make fish taco. In town, I went to the quest board and Abby was after a cave carrot. Then Clint got smashing up the goodies for me, but now it was getting tougher to get the remaining donations for the museum. I nipped in the mines to do some slaying, then settled in again for the night, hopefully feeling nice and fresh. The quest board had another one ready in the morning to slay 3 ghosts for the wizard, so off I went into the mines to have a crack at it. I also went ahead and started to slay other bits for fun and found a note from Abigail's diary about things she loves. I looked over another note with some indication of a time and place to visit. I tried on the final day of the season, but failed as I'm not sure I was looking right. Ah well, bedtime to wake in the spring, baby. I woke in the morning to a new geezer called Kent. Seems nice to be fair. Barrels weren't going to move themselves though, and the farm was kind of looking a little messy right now, so it was time to clear out as much as I can and then prep this sucker ready for a wonderful spring harvest. In town, the legendary Emily, flame of my fire. Darling, look how caring she is when the parrot needs help. It was time though to chuck money at Pierre and start the season off with a nice variety of seeds. Then a flash of gifts and on to accepting a weekly quest to collect 100 bones. Pretty much every extra second of the day was spent getting the crops laid down, fertilised and watered. A lengthy process as always, but just before 2 AM, I managed to crawl tirelessly into bed before passing out, achieving a huge amount for the day. I hadn't quite finished all of the farm chores though and got stuck straight back in as soon as morning hit. As soon as the barrels had brewed, I moved them into the shed too. Then the mailbox had a note about fertilisers from Pierre and one with bits marrows after. I grabbed the bus trip to the desert and dove into the caverns again to chill for a bit, blowing stuff up as I went. I came out with hardly anything, but did have a secret note with a picture of Marnie. 9k for the day, at bedtime. In the morning, I had a collie in the mail from Caroline. I grabbed a quest for Willie and gave in the red cabbage to the community centre. Then it was time to go and see what goodies were inside all of the nodes collected after some grind. all I got was 2 more for the collection. In the mines, I found a note about taking some maple syrup to the secret woods. Something about a lost necklace and some kind of code for the mermaid show. The second day of spring was done and dusted. Every morning I work with the animals just to keep that in mind, okay? And the secret woods quest was showing, so I prepped. Whilst I was on my way over, I found Shane passed out on the cliff edge, hammered and soaking. Shane's demons are wild at the moment. I did take him to get his stomach pumped at Harvey's place though. Then hopped off towards the secret woods to find a bear in there waiting for me. That kind of explains the questionable spelling on the note. I handed him the maple syrup and he made berries sell for 3 times more. I grabbed the hardwood whilst I was here, then grabbed the quest for Clint to get seaweed before trying my luck at catching the legendary fish that resides up in the mountain lake. I failed miserably though. I did manage to get the largemouth bass for a task whilst here and handed it over to Willie. I also fished up the seaweed, spent one of the tickets to get a houseplant, and handed the seaweed over to Clint. I sold off a bunch of junk at the farm, then went to bed, but heard some kind of wild smashing sound. Also managed a decent little profit too. Shane turned up in the morning to say thanks for saving him. My carrots are all ready, and I got a truffle finally from the pig. Off to the desert I went. Goal to farm and have fun. I grabbed some energy tonic from a loot floor and some red cabbage seeds. Then a note with something to do on it. No idea what though, and something about raisin-fed Junimos. I also noticed that the big crash noise must have been this tree. 100 hardwood to fix it up. I hit level 10 mining and grabbed the prospector perk, then off to sleep to chill. Cheers for the fish, Demetrius, and an apricot for the lovely Emily. I rearranged and did some farming after. Then off I went, lucky lunch to chow down on, and some caverns to explore. I found a note from Mr. Key, exploded my way down a few floors before failing horribly. Wasn't all bad though, as I hit level 10 combat, grabbing the brute perk for an extra 15% damage. 10k to finish too. In the morning, I took 100 pieces of hardwood over to the tree and fixed that sucker right up, building a lovely little tree house. Didn't know I could build, to be honest. It's hardwood time again, either way. Then I went to see the lads and their band. I told them the right thing to do is good old country music, baby. Then off I went to collect the bones for the weekly. I had them, but damn, I got there 10 minutes too late to hand them in. I was actually fuming, I won't lie. But whatever, a new day for new opportunities, hopefully. My man Lewis sent an eggplant parmesan recipe. Then doing the daily rounds, I noticed the dino egg had hatched into a lovely little lizard. You shall be called Scales. Harvest of some beautiful flowers was ready, and they were truly gorgeous. Then I grabbed the weekly quest for Pierre's prime produce. Basically, shipped 25 gold star veg, then a help task for slaying some red slimes. The night was upon me, but I am obsessive. The farm was still looking like a recycle centre, so I got to work mowing down a bunch of junk and clearing up again. I went off to bed earning over 20k for the day, and things were truly starting to look spicy. Emily wants me so bad. Right now though, she's a distraction. The farm isn't going to sort itself. I have a bit of a vision in my head, but still going to take time to execute. Hey look, the tree I made has a raccoon living in it, even has a little light. Now there is an item collection for a periwinkle and a smoked bullhead. Easy enough. Off I went though to slay those red slimes for the quest, then a huge amount of gifting around town. I spoke to Lewis to complete the slaying of said slimes, then went off to set up some of the fishing traps for that periwinkle. Another decent little day, but soon I would realise more money is needed. Demetrius sent me a shell in the morning, and I went and placed a few more fish traps too. Back on the farm again, my greenhouse growth was ripe for picking, and I went to see Robin about a deluxe coop too. More gifts were in order, then a quick quest for Willie again to catch some sardine. When I went to the beach, Hayley was in hysterics about a necklace she had lost. I did find it behind Surfer Dude's house though, and she was all over me. Don't you know it's your sister I'm after? You're welcome though. After that I finished up Willie's request and gave them over, and then off to bed once again to finish up day 122. Willie taught me how to make chowder, Emily gave me cloth, then I cracked on harvesting a whole bunch of green beans. I love walking out and seeing harvest ready. Kind of ignites my inner hoarder. In the shed, my cranberry wine was brewed, the bookseller was in town, so I traded my spares and bought both The Way of the Wind Part 1 and 2. That makes me run faster. Then off I went to see Clinty Boy to smash open some rocks again. I will be sad when I can't do this anymore, as there will be no point soon. I'd earned just the one for the museum collection again, but it did earn me a crystallarium. My gold veg was ready for Pierre, earning me a cool 2.5k. I spent it all on a bunch of parsnips, then cashed in my prize ticket for an almanac book. All of the fishing traps are ready too, and guess what? Periwinkle, baby. Here you go, raccoon thing. Back on the farm, I prepped for all the seeds I just bought. Kinda like a farm expansion. It is quite the effort to do though, the planting in this game when you aren't prepared. I am getting more efficient as I play though, I swear. I popped to give in the smoked fish, completing the request for the raccoon too. Another day, another 16k gold or so. Kinda still on those rookie numbers, but it does get better. It was once again the egg festival tomorrow. And also time to go buy some rare seeds from the travelling merchant. I ran straight to my greenhouse and got them all going, before hopping on the bus to go down into the skull caverns. I found a note saying someone was waiting for me on level 100 and started to blast my way down for a bit. It was fun. I shot home last thing and got myself off to bed in time, but not making much money today. On day 125, it was time for the Easter event, so I purchased a bunch of them juicy strawberry seeds this time and sprinted around like a madman trying to get all them juicy eggs again. Managing a few, but well, not enough this time. Well done, Abby. Back on the farm, I managed to get a fair few of the strawberry seeds in and ready to go, and then once again set up a whole load more as quickly as I could. And tucked in nicely to chill for a bit. In the morning, I had mail that basically explained that there was a 3-day event going on in the desert starting tomorrow. The greenhouse had a bunch of harvests ready for me too, so I gathered the fruits of my labour, although they aren't that great later on, I do realise. I ran over to also get my watering can in for upgrade, as the farming bits were done for now. Then went over to see Emily, where she showed me what she'd been working on for a few months in secret. Not gonna lie, it was a bit cringe. After, she was also at it with those gems I gave to her. She was running some sort of crystal energy thing. I took the apricot we got and gave it over as well to complete her little quest. Then went over to Marnie to buy myself a rabbit, who we quickly named Judy. If you know, you know. I quickly grabbed some more hardwood, then went over to the lake to try once again for that pesky, legendary fish, failing horribly once again. Off to bed I went to contemplate my fishing ability and cashing in. In the morning, a whole bunch of our parsnips were ready to be picked, and I mean a whole load of them. Then I had a note telling me to go to the mayor's house today for Emily to dress up. Linus also sent me some sashimi. In my shed, I had a whole bunch of coffee and some green bean juice ready and waiting for me too, and to mentally prepare myself to be dressed up like a loony. I decided now was the perfect time to burn off some steam and just swing my axe for a bit. I also chucked in a bunch more kegs and grabbed a quest to get a load of eggs for Gus too. Alright, now was the time to go and see what was going on over at Lewis's house with Emily. Not even sure why I like her so much at this point, but here we are. Her crazy makes me crazy, I guess. Everyone looked, well, interesting. And then Clint, go on lad. I ran off to the community centre to finish the chef bundle and the enchanter's bundle, then stopped off to give a leak to Evelyn. My social battery was just about drained when I went to the pub to find Clint wanting to confide his terrible game with me. Thing is, he likes Emily, I think. But the heart wants what the heart wants, mate. I had almost forgot, but did manage to make it over to the desert to check out this festival. Whilst here, this crazy chef made me some random meal. I swapped out some geodes for treasure, then played a race game thing, failing miserably as always. Emily was also here and had some clothing store thing where I went in and some questionable things happened. Out I came, looking like Officer Doofy too. Anyway, some old cowboy geezer did give me a cactus that cries, and thank goodness, bedtime was here, and I was so relieved, I won't lie. I got a note in the morning from Emily asking to meet her in the woods to go camping, and also managed to finalise the very last bundle with 3 apples. A long time coming, but check me out guys, I did it. Now, I did forget all about Emily for the evening as I was hyper-focused on the desert this time, so I got some free food and grabbed a quest. I hacked and sliced my way through the caverns to earn a bunch of egg things, found some treasure troves and completed the challenge for the day. Sorry Emily, I forgot and went to bed. Day 129, and Lewis had left me a note about how great I'd been sorting people's requests out and stuff, and Clint sent me an iron bar. I went over to the desert, gave Kent his diamond he requested, then grabbed another caverns quest to slay 10 purple slimes. Whilst down there, I found some bombs in a chest, then normal sprinklers, and some iridium ones too. I spent all of the eggs on mystery boxes, as the other stuff were cosmetic only, it seemed. Whilst back in the valley, I headed over to the pub where Gus explained some issues financially from the village drunk not paying. Yes, that's Pam. I'd only come to give eggs over for the weekly, to be honest. Here you go, Gus. Enjoy them, and thanks for the 3k. Another productive day comes to a close. Gus came to say thanks and gave me a jukebox. What a legend. Also gave me the recipe for crafting them too. Next, I had recipes for rice pudding, fried eel, vegetable medley, blueberry tart, and Gus gave me a fridge. I popped down to the raccoon who wants dried strawberries and apricot jelly. I also headed into the secret woods with a sweet gem berry and gave it to the statue thing in here. It was legendary and earned me a sweet, sweet star drop too. This was the second or third sweet thing I tried over here now, so I'm happy. I'd also got a note from my grandpa that I was meant to find at some point. It outlined that if I was reading, I was doing a good job. Apparently there was something also hidden for me somewhere. Just look at this, the celebration of me completing the community centre. I actually had a huge feeling of happiness in this scene as it felt like a genuine lot of work went into it. Then we were delighted by the presence of Morris, who really wasn't happy. Pierre was having none of it though and got into a scrap with him. He turned into the Hulk and walloped him through the roof. I spent my tickets and got the special tea, which I went and gave to Willie. After that, I went down and fished up my very first goby too from the little pond by the waterfall. For the rest of the evening, I cracked on with clearing out a bunch more trees and junk on the farm. And after midnight, I scurried off to bed, not making much. I had mail telling me Pierre's was now open 7 days a week, and he's also gave me a mini shipping bin too. I decided to take a stroll into town to the pub where I walked in on what looked like the most gross omelette I had ever seen. It almost looked alive. No thanks, Gus. After I popped down to see Willie, and he had a bit of a dilemma where all of the crabs had got out. Gus was happy though, as these would be great for cooking up, it seems. Crab cakes, to be specific. After, Willie shows me the old boat out back. What did all of this mean, I wonder? Turns out it needs batteries, iridium bars, and loads of hardwoods to fix. I took the oars to Clint, got a ticket, and earned some cow decal sticker thing. Then on my home I caught Lewis and Marnie outside trying to be sneaky. Look, your secret's safe for me. That night, some lightning struck the old Joja Mart that had shut down and popped open the door. Something for another time, eh? In the morning, Shane had sent me some pepper poppers, my watering can was ready, and it was time to upgrade my pickaxe. Whilst here, I got to work with my glorious collection I had accumulated once more. I'm fairly certain I also keep Clint in business at the moment, to be honest. We were at it for a while, just popping and smashing. I earned a whopping 2 artifacts for the effort, then went and tried once again for that damn late legendary fish, but failed horribly once again. One day, I will catch you. The day finally ended pretty decent though. And yes, I woke up to the glorious red river of strawberries just ready to be fingered. Pierre also requests some sashimi, and I did nothing else other than sell off the glorious delights I accumulated. Nearly 30k made today for those strawbs. Not bad. Jodie the MILF was at the door in the morning. She asked if I wanted dinner with her and Kent. Imagine. Moving swiftly on, it was time for the rest of the harvest that I didn't quite plant as quick as the others, and a shed load of cranberry wine too. I saved a bunch of strawberries this time to make some strawberry wine and see if it's worth more. Then headed over to where the lightning hit the old Joja Mart. Inside there was a Junimo, and then a whole new bundle to try and complete. The bookseller was in town, so I bought some XP books and read them, then went and grabbed my pickaxe from Clint. I think it was time to put it to good use down in the caverns again, so off I went, hacking and poking my way through. Then after some time I popped the totem to get back to the farm and tucked myself into bed, making an average haul again. Oh look, it was time for that flower dance again. This time, I'm the king though. But again, let's go to the desert once more. I popped a buried golden mask and read a note on a place to dig up to. Deep down, I got to it, wiping out a bunch of dinos and ghosts. Then once again popped a totem to get home. It was good just farming up a little, to be fair. Again, a decent amount of plunder. In the morning, I rearranged my furnace area, then headed on up to the dance where I asked the one and only for her hand. She said yes, obviously. I mean, look at my hat. Everyone was dressed up all nicely, and there I was, overstepping, almost flying in my silly hat. At bedtime, my cow had also given birth, which was again very strange as there was no bull in sight. I also popped the achievement for hitting level 10 in everything, and grabbed the botanist perk too. The next morning, I was once again blessed with a whole bunch of strawberries to be tenderly managed, and tender I am. I also knocked up a few more kegs, slowly filling up the shed. I now had the ability to go on over and see what was behind the door down below my farm. Inside was a sign saying the final path, and it had all sorts of goodies for us to get our mitts on. One for combat, one for foraging, one for mining, one for fishing, and finally one for farming. I grabbed my fishing traps after and set them up in the lake to see if I could catch anything different, then did a little bit of work on the farm for the rest of the evening. I moved over some chests, then scurried off to bed to get a good night's sleep. And boom! Loads of gold again. The morning had yet again blessed me with a whole load of green beans, and the second batch of the strawberries were also ready for me too. I had only one more sunfish to catch for my quest as well, which I quickly fished up, then used the ticket I earned, getting 8 more Omni Geodes. After, I popped up to see Robin and Demetrius, who were having a little bit of a tiff. Yes, it was regarding whether a tomato was a fruit or veg. It's a fruit, guys, come on. Also, Robin trusts me enough to give me her carpentry secrets. On the way out, Linus was chilling, grabbing some berry bushes, so we had a quick catch-up. I said I was happy to see Linus doing well, and that was that. After, it was time to get my gifting on, and I was slacking a bit on this front. I went around everyone in the pub, and it was glorious. That night, I racked up a solid profit for my troubles. On the morning of day 139, Clint sent me the recipe for a bean hot pot. Caroline sent me a spud. I did a bit of a building shuffle and commissioned in a new mill on the farm. After, I went out and visited Evelyn. She gave me a cookie, and she also told me how to make them. After I dipped into the mines to slay yet another 8 red slimes for the quest, then took myself off to bed ready to hammer out another day. In the morning, I completed the quest with Lewis, earning the Big Help achievement. This was for completing 40 quests. Then it was off to see Clinty Boy to smash open my goodies and see what I get. As I say, I'll never get tired of this. I was able to hand over 3 more things to the museum, unlocking some warp totems and some statue pieces. I got them set up in my kitchen kind of dining area, but was missing the head still. I went off to the desert and dug up where the note suggested, then went off into the mines to slay some stuff before porting out just before 1 AM. Here's the goodies. Not great, to be honest. Good night again, once more, you beautiful world. In the morning, I was greeted with a thank you prize of 2,500 gold, and the new season was upon us. Summery vibes to plan for already. My strawberry wines were all ready too, so time to harvest and replace with some coffee. I took the morning to get set up on the farm ready for growing, removed the path, and rearranged the sprinklers. In town, I grabbed a task to get a jade for Leah, then into Pierre's to get a whole bunch of seeds and fertilizers. I made sure to grab a bunch of every seed to do the shipping completion thing. Then I went all day getting everything done, right up until nearly 2 AM to make sure I made the most of it. It was kind of hard to see at night without my glow ring though. That evening I made a cheeky 10k from the strawberry wine. On day 142, I nipped out to the desert to grab up a bunch of seeds from Sandy, then traded in my Omni Geodes for artifact troves. Then back in town, Clint finished off smashing things open for me and managed to produce an old bone flute thing. I chucked it in at the museum as well as the anchor and received a flute block. After, I grabbed Robin's resource rush for 1,000 stone to collect. Then, got a load of starfruit seeds planted in the space that remained. Flute block by my door too. I do love coffee. Might be a bit cold though. And as we're in autumn at the moment, coffee is even better in the morning. I chucked in a bunch of different fruits and stuff to see what we get, then went down into the mines to get started on collecting some stone for the weekly challenge. At bedtime, my shipping earned me the achievement for making my very first millie. I was proud of this one. This flute block isn't going to be annoying, right? All is good though, as I have the goodies for my raccoon again. For the trouble, I got myself a book and expanded the raccoon shop too. The book made it so I had a higher chance to find seeds from weeds. I read that sucker quick time. After, I went off to the desert to go and blow a load of stuff up for a bit of fun. I was there for a while but didn't achieve that much, to be honest. I just enjoy mining. That night I made an average amount and shipped items missing from the list. Clint was now after more ores, so I accepted, then nipped out to the beach to be met by Alex. He threw me the ball, but I failed terribly at catching it. I wasn't looking alright. I also went and donated the 5 batteries and the 5 iridium bars to fix the boat. Then went into the caverns to do a good amount of farming, smelted the ores, and then tucked myself in with a low income day to showcase. In the morning, I popped my watering can for a gold upgrade and used the time wisely whilst here to go ahead and pop open yet another huge haul from down in the caverns. I managed to donate 1 item into the museum and handed over the ores to Clint too. The prize ticket was dispensed and I got 4 beehives out of it. I had done enough to earn a star on the final path room thing, so I decided on the foraging mastery this time as I wanted that mystic tree thing. This thing was easy enough to craft and I had been saving these ingredients too. The treasure totem requires syrup from the tree it seems. A quick check shows that I'm 70% done on the stone collection. I also managed to plant a mystic tree, place down the beehives, then cooked up a couple of things too. Lastly, I nipped to the secret woods for some hardwood and got off to bed, finalizing my busy day. In the morning, I had mail from Demetrius. He wanted a puffer fish, and I hopped on the bus to the desert. I dug deep, exploding my way through the caverns again, and somewhere down, I managed to loot a purple slime egg. Here we go though, 2 slime eggs in total for the venture and a bunch of random stuff. I traded in the geodes for artifact boxes again, then went off to bed thinking about what I wanted to achieve tomorrow. A rainy morning, so I smelted up a bunch of bars and had a recipe in the mail to be able to craft some stone chests, and a bit of wood from Robin. I had a bit of a harvest ready in the greenhouse to pick, then knocked up some of the stone chests and placed them down in the kitchen to start hoarding for cooking. Clint, cheers mate for the watering can. Now smash my boxes and give me the goods. Another artifact given to receive a burnt offering. I cashed my ticket in for 5 diamonds, then nipped to Pierre's to see Caroline and Abigail fighting in the kitchen. I only wanted to see Pierre. I handed him his item and received payment. Then down at the beach I went over to the shady guy and got my hands on that mermaid pendant thing. Now is the time. Before that though, I gained some clarity by fishing down at the docks and managed to fight and land a crimson fish for the trouble. I also quickly nabbed a dorado. And look at me go, wishing me luck. Pendant in hand, strolling eagerly over to her. Guess what? She said yes. Obviously. Just look at her face, man. She's so cute. Ceremony in 3 days. To celebrate, I gifted a round at the pub and then tucked myself into bed, smiling from ear to ear. On the morning of day 148, some of my poppies were ready for harvest and Willie had sent me the recipe for fish stew. After, I sorted the sprinklers in the greenhouse and arranged my storage in the kitchen to be organised. I wasn't quite ready for all the cooking yet though. After, I planted a bunch of rare seeds I'd got my hands on and grabbed the weekly to find the prismatic jelly. I tried for the day to find it, but no luck yet. I think it's just random. Oh well, bedtime either way. The morning had blessed me with summer spangles, sunflower seeds, and an iron bar from Clint. The bookseller was in town again, so I traded in my leftovers and went ahead and purchased the old Slytherin's book to move faster through grass and crops. I spent another half day down in the caverns looking for a prismatic jelly thing, but no luck, and then bedtime shows a profit of 13k today for minimal effort. On day 150, it was time for me and Em to tie the knot. Lewis went through a bit of a speech about me and moving in, kinda making the day all about me. Fair play, Lewis. Then we were done, happy as Larry. Life is going to be different from now on. Say what? I got around to checking the mail to get a cake and details about the town luau again at the beach. I went into the mines and searched for a bit where the slimes are and eventually found the shiny sucker just chilling. I slashed him up to get my hands on that prismatic goodness. I also popped to see the raccoon. Now he wants some dried mushrooms and white algae. And off to the wizard too for my 5 grand. The ticket also netted me 5 mystery boxes. It was once again time for me to go out and about, gifting up what I had to offer. I took a stroll up to the mountain area and the wizard was over by the weird thing blocking that cave up at the top. Basically, his wife is a witch and lives in here or something, and she has his magic ink. I will save this for another time though. On the way down, I ran into Maru, who was out using her telescope and stargazing. Not gonna lie, she's a bit of a legend and probably closer to what I'm into. But I'm yours, don't worry. Back at home, I petted the parrot that took over the house and went off to bed and earned a whopping 26k nearly. In the morning, I had mail for the wizard, this time on how to craft monster musk, and then I went to the beach for the festival. I dropped in some strawberry wine for the soup and we got to it. The governor was happy, but not quite delighted this time. I need something better next time to get that damn achievement. Close but no cigar, as they say. I dropped off the dried mushrooms for the raccoon, then went to bed after a relaxing day. On day 152, Marnie and Shane had a moment. He seems to be doing really well. I got to see his blue chickens too. After, I went up and purchased every craft recipe available from Robin, and then popped off to hand over the white algae to the raccoon buddy, earning a raccoon hat. I shipped a bunch of stuff missing from my shipping list tonight and earned 21k. Oh, coffee. Thanks for blessing me. Then once again off to the caverns to have some fun. I'm obsessed with the bombs. Not much else happened, and I say goodnight. Oh, glorious blueberries. Just look at you. I think I could extend hugely on these and make more money, but I'm pretty happy either way with it. In town, I did a few gifts of gems too. Then collected 3 rewards for some Monster Slayer completions. Handed the quest items to Clint and collected the best food in the game from the machine. The blueberries I did sell netted me a good amount that night, but I saved some for the wine. The morning of day 155 was even better because a bunch of starfruit was also ready. I didn't quite realise how much these things were worth. It was also the weird green day, so I cleared a bunch of weeds. Kent wanted a starfruit. Good timing. Here you go, mate. Pop that 5 heart with 20 people achievement. The rest of the day was spent down in the caverns popping bombs and collecting some decent loot. Here we go. 4 chest floors. Not bad at all from that food we won. Nearly 30k again for the day also. Happy days. Another day on the grind for hardwood starts as well. Then I gave Pam the pale ale she wanted, finally. After, I loaded the starfruit we had spare into the barrels to see how much the wine would make, and grabbed another weekly. It was time to start gifting out again, as friendship really does grow pretty slow sometimes. Down in the sewers, the dwarf and Krobus were kicking off. They have history and really hate each other. After a bit of a scrap, the wizard stepped in to sort. I'd only come down to speak with Krobus about the ink-related questline, and that's when he unlocked that new area for me. I headed on in, slashed and fought my way to the end. At the chest I found it, the thing to move the blockage to the witch. Another solid finish on shipment. A new standard has been set, clearly. The morning presented me with lots more coffee and hops for the beer. Then I gave Willie and Kent the jade they both wanted for quests, and finally put my hoe in for iridium upgrade. I didn't ship much today, but any money is good, alright? Day 158 blessed me yet again with a bountiful harvest of glorious blueberries. I stand by it, one of the best feelings in the game is picking a big harvest in the morning. Just pure pleasure. The bookseller was in town, so I read a horse book thing, then cracked on with a bunch more work around the farm clearing out the trees and debris. It was all to make room for a hardwood mini farm, and honestly, why I didn't know about this earlier, I don't know. A decent profit to end on too. And look at that! Finally, I donate the 200 hardwood to the boat, ready for a glorious new chapter. I continued to expand my tree farm area on the farm, and then at bedtime I got to see both Robin and Willie get to work. I could have probably fixed it up myself, I reckon, as I did manage that treehouse. Good night though. Next day my hoe was ready, and I'd remembered to bring my bits for smashing open once again. I had a whole bunch of rare ones to get working on, but I actually only needed a couple more things for the museum, so mostly not worth it now. With these 3 donations to the museum, I got another magic rock candy and a drum block. I put the candy to good use and got straight to work in the caverns. I exploded and looted my way down to about floor 80, earning some decent loot on the way. Then before going home, I traded for the troves once more and got myself off to bed. Let's not talk about this one, eh? Damn it. Down in the caverns to make me feel better. I traded my geodes in once again before heading on home. I'm genuinely desperate for another ancient seed so I can crack on. In the morning, I gave Em a gift and it took me to 12 hearts with her. For the effort, she gave me another star drop. Mega! I think I only need 2 more now to complete them. And here we go. 1k to Willie to take over to the new island. The sail over was lovely. However, please just remember, I was blissfully unaware of the sheer grind ahead. Once we'd landed, I popped the achievement for finally reaching Ginger Island. Go me! A big feat for sure. This was now the time where I discovered the Golden Walnut Dilemma. A tent kit, and up in the treehouse there was some lad in there that could talk to parrots. Stardew's very own Tarzan, kinda. Back on the main landing bit, there was a flame that seemed to be trying to guide me up north. I followed it and found another golden walnut hiding. Up top, there was a golden parrot I could pay absurd money to find the walnuts for me too. I stepped inside the volcano, but it was currently impassable without making obsidian with water it seems. Typical that I didn't have my watering can, eh? I fished down at the beach for a bit, netting some more golden walnuts and a new fish called a lionfish, then got back on the boat to go home. The shipment of the night was 35k though, so that was pretty epic. In the morning, I had a new recipe for lobster bisque and another collie, and the epic thing happened. Yes, the starfruit wine was ready that we had brewed up too. Back on Ginger Island, I poured my watering can to make a bridge into the volcano. I started my way up, and on floor 5 there was a dwarf selling some items. I continued though, fighting and breaking things open to get the golden walnuts, and then netted my first eye-watering amount of 69k gold for the starfruit wine. Back over on the island, it was raining and a bird dropped an amethyst up north. Then I continued venturing my way up the volcano. Past the 10th floor, it seems I had finally made it to the peak. Up here, there was 2 golden walnuts and a chest that had a prismatic shard in. Now, this thing was mega too. Kinda like a Minecraft enchanting machine, where I could amplify my kit to make it stronger. I combined my 2 rings into one and upgraded my sword too. It was late by now, and I ran out of time to get home. I pitched up one of the tents and went off to sleep for the night. In the morning, I had enough golden walnuts to unlock the west section that was blocked by a giant tortoise thing. The parrots cleared the way for some walnuts. Once in, I could see what looks like my very own house that I could fix up over here too. Kinda like a permanent summer farm or something. I said hi to the lady sat here and she gave me a memento, unlocking a long quest line I'd need to figure out. I grabbed the golden walnuts in view and found some strange door in the hill. To access it, I needed to find 100 golden walnuts though. I continued to grab any I could find up here, and then headed back to say hi to the kid who was willing to now meet me properly. Turns out his name is Leo. Yet another person to try and befriend it seems, eh? Back in the volcano, I cracked on hacking, slashing, booming my way through to earn the golden goodies. And then I managed to earn enough to unlock this wood bridge over to some kind of excavation site. Over there, a guy was stuck behind a boulder I blew up. I said hi to Professor Snail and he mentioned that it was his tent we could see and to go see him there sometime. I popped a tent and got off to bed after. In the morning I went to Snail's tent to now be set with another mini museum of sorts, to excavate a bunch of bones. On top of the volcano, I enhanced my sword again with an amethyst and continued to farm up golden walnuts as much as I could. I spent some on unlocking the shortcut in the volcano too. Before leaving, I grabbed another that was hidden in the tech, and then gave in the fossilized bat to the collection. I had been neglecting my farm a little back home, and when I got back, there was a whole bunch of harvest to get hold of. So much waste if I'm not careful. My precious blueberries! That night, I made another immense 53k gold, and my wallet was becoming heavy. I went over to Clint's in the morning to pop open a few things and got real lucky with 2 auto petters. I was neglecting the little ones a bit too. 1 artifact was found as well, and off I went to the island. I bought a book from the dwarf for 10 diamonds, which allows me to find more diamonds. Then, that night I needed to pop up yet another tent as time was running short again. The next day was all full and yet more volcano grinding. And yes, it was a massive grind. At the top again though, I did manage to go ahead and upgrade my sword with a ruby again. After, I stopped by and handed in the bone I found from Snailman and managed to answer the first question to earn another walnut too. Good night and goodbye summer once again. Look at this, ready for I think a whole bunch of pumpkins I want to grow this year. Let's get stuck in. At Pierre's, I bought up all the seeds I wanted, focusing on those pumpkins, and even more wine again is ready for me in the shed. 56k gold once again. I told you, I'm learning I think. I took a sec to slap on the drum block. No idea why. Then I realised I had 2 mastery points to spend. I grabbed the combat and farming mastery. In town, it was time to grab the next weekly quest from the board, where I grabbed the bones one. 3rd time lucky, right? Then off to bed to end the day again. Back on Ginger Island, I noticed that the mollusk rock things gave more golden walnuts, so I made some effort to farm, then unlock the fast travel area. I also donated a snake head bone and answered the next question in the tent. It was only now I'm finding this shrine site in the jungle bit and eventually realising the gems dropped from each zone are what we need to put in. In the farm area, I planted up the tuber things along the river and donated the fossilised frog thing for yet another walnut. When I went to bed, the witch came over and did something to my shed. I genuinely have no idea what she did. Anywho though, bedtime was nice as always. Right, back to the insane walnut grind. I dug some up, and then discovered this cave where I had to memorize and play back the sound to earn some more. After I think about 2 attempts, I managed to finally do it. More walnuts, then up to the upgrader to upgrade my fishing rod to auto start the catch. I just want to quickly say that I don't like the walnut grind at all. On day 172, I donated some stuff to the museum, then fished up a golden walnut from the lava. Also found 2 more down at the beach. Now in the pub, I finally found who the memento was meant to be given to. Kent was amazed and then swapped it for the gourmet tomato salt. Now who loves food stuff? Gus. I was right and he gave me a rose. Whilst in the pub, I made an effort to do a bit of gifting, then settled in for another night. After not knowing who the rose went to, I'm ashamed to say I googled it. First time googling anything, by the way, though. She gave me a TV remote, which was kind of obvious one for George, earning an Arctic shard. I had the 100 bones to finally complete the bones for Gunther's weekly, and went to spend my prize ticket at Lewis's place to get another friendly tea thing. The Arctic shard sounded wizardy, so I went and handed it over. He gave me a wiggly worm, which is probably the easiest item in this one for sure. My man Willie. I gave it over to him, and he gave me the pirate's locket for the lady. I went back to Ginger Island and chucked it down behind her. She was ecstatic and taught me how to make fairy dust for the effort, as well as giving me some walnuts. I was glad that quest was done, if I'm honest, as it was hard work. In the morning, Em stopped me and requested 200 fibre so she could make me an outfit. Then I had mail with a recipe to craft a bone mill. I gave the fibre to Em and she was ready to get to work. I then got stuck into the caverns again, finding some decent stuff. I was bored of golden walnuts and wanted a little break. Don't judge. I did manage to find this fairy trinket for auto healing too. Absolutely mega profit there, clearly. Day 175 was here and I grabbed my greenhouse harvest, which needed better crops to be fair, then went into town to grab a quest for Elliot, as well as crops orders for 100 amaranth, and finally my Iridium axe from Clint. I popped in to grab a whole bunch of amaranth seeds from Pierre, as well as some artichokes, then cracked on with more golden walnuts. I found a golden cracker! I finally had enough to fix up the second home on the island, thank goodness. Inside was nice, to be fair. Guess what I did next? Searched tirelessly for more walnuts. I also went up and enchanted my new axe, which was awesome, and my pickaxe, which was even more epic. In the volcano, I realised that I could veer off and make a bridge out to the left, which was perfect as I got 2 more walnuts through the cave bit, then even more hidden ones. Off to bed to dust this collection off today. Oh, glorious starfruit wine. Get here now and make me that cash, you legend. I replaced with hops for some beer too, then started working on a bit of a farm on Ginger Island. I also found this cave with the frog thing in. His request was something pink and juicy. It was raining and the jungle bird was there. Found a golden walnut and went off to bed making 85.5k gold from that wine, man. The next morning was raining again and I grabbed the amethyst from the bird. Then back in town I gave sashimi to Pierre and then on to Clint for a lovely smash session, which was cool because I got 3 banana trees out of it too. In the desert I fished up a scorpion carp finally, and after a bit of a battle I also managed to hook the anglerfish too. When I got home, Em was waiting for me with a new thing she made. A full outfit it seems. I slapped that sucker on and yeah, well, it's interesting. After that, I decided to do a bit of cooking to tick off some of the recipes and pop the achievement for cooking 10 of them. I went to bed earning a decent profit for the day as well. The morning blessed me with plenty of beer to enjoy, then I got a prize ticket from the MILF. I exchanged the ticket to earn a treasure chest from the machine, then continued my Ginger Island farm work. I had also managed to get the rest of the snake donations done, earning another walnut, as well as mining one at the beach. I was getting closer each day to completing those damn walnuts, man. Up next, I decided to spend the collected golden walnuts on fixing up what appeared to be some kind of trade shop thing. I did take some time to look over what was on offer, and visualized what I would need to grab. I managed to find a few more walnuts, knocking about, and then went off to bed once more, after shipping a load of junk. I didn't know it, but I had some kind of cashback scheme going with Pierre, it seems. And look at that, some juicy, mystic syrup just waiting for me in the greenhouse. I crafted 2 treasure totems, then went back to Ginger Island Beach to use them. I dug up all of the spots, hoping to find some decent valuables, but unfortunately, it was much more of the same junk we'd already got. I found more walnuts, gave in another bone, and caught a blue discus before settling in for the night again. Fish collection was coming along nicely now, and so is the cash. What a damn sight when I woke up. Holy moly, the motherlode of pumpkins was ready. There was also a giant one in the middle too. How the hell did that happen? After, I was feeling good, so I blasted through the caverns and finally managed to reach that floor 100 where Mr. Key was sat there waiting. He told me to drink his venom juice, so I walloped it back and gained 25 extra HP. Those pumpkins were worth some sort of money, I see. I even saved some for brewing. Clint, smash my boxes, please. Then off to set up more farm areas on Ginger Island. I managed to finally pan the fossil from the river for the museum and found a walnut from a note. 12 grand mostly from random other items like treasure and truffles. On day 183, a bit of the harvest was ready and I had to complete my farm expansion. This is why. Starfruits, baby. I dug up another walnut, then went back to Stardew for the fair. I played the fishing game once, then spent a bunch of time gambling on green until I earned enough to buy every item from the shop. With each one bought, nothing special by the way, I went off to bed, pretty relaxed. The ticket was used straight away, earning an iridium sprinkler, then I popped my golden coconuts to find the last bone piece for Mr. Snail. The museum looks kinda cool when completed, to be fair, and it earned me more golden walnuts I believe for my efforts, as well as the ostrich incubator recipe. An ostrich? Since when? As I said, 6 walnuts and a banana tree. Nice. I now had enough to patch up the front beach resort, so the parrots quickly got to work and made it happen. This unveiled a new section off to the right where there was a cove. I managed to fish up a stingray and fish out a walnut too. For the rest of the day, I spent some time back on the original farm to clear bits out and prep my mind ready. I had some plans to actually decorate much better at some point, I promise. The morning once again blessed me with wine, and I bothered to do a bit of pathing to protect my trees and map out some stuff. I also went ahead and smashed up that giant pumpkin, which was mad because it gave me 16 extra. I placed the mushroom log and the deluxe worm bin and went off to Pierre's. I was snooping about and managed to find his secret listing. However, he walked in on me just before I could see what it was all about. My slacking was noticed, so I put in a bit of effort to get some seeds sown back at the farm. A bit of a mix to make sure I shipped everything I wanted, really. I forgot to say, but those golden crackers are really strong. Just selling purple milk is epic. In the morning, I had a quest to give Pam a battery pack and finally got around to digging up the spots outlined in the secret note. I handed in the artifact and now realised I only needed one more. I need to find it. The Ginger Island farm had all of my amaranth ready that I needed for shipping, and I found another 2 golden walnuts. Oh man, a lovely profit again. Funny thing is, I realised my mistakes as I edit this. In the morning I shipped the amaranth to finish up the quest and went to see Robin about rearranging and buying another shed. Next, I went to the desert and bought 250 starfruit seeds, then back to Ginger Island to find the beach populated and Gus working. With all the free space on the farm, I got to work hammering in the starfruit seeds too. Bedtime made the noise for me completing the shipment of amaranth, and I made some good money. Lewis sent me a mini shipping bin and my broccoli juice was ready. I popped down to the raccoon and gave the pickled pumpkin and the juice over. He gave me 5 fairy dust for the effort too. This walnut is a joke, but it gave me enough to fix up my Ginger Island mailbox, I guess, before grabbing another walnut in the volcano. Then, lovely bedtime. I hate golden walnuts! Day 189. Nothing happened other than me rearranging my farm chests and harvesting. Then, day 190, I blasted the dig site and found the note to dig up the ostrich egg and the walnut. Exciting times. I found another in the cove bit, then went back to craft and place the ostrich egg incubator and get that damn thing going finally. For the rest of the evening, I held true and spent a bit of time laying down some sensible walkways and tried to set up a central walk kind of area. That night I managed to ship just over 15k, so still averaging not that much. Then I had 5 days to collect all the tropical fish from Ginger Island. 5 lionfish, 5 blue discus and 5 stingrays. Guess what I went off to do? I did, however, get kicked out of the Pirate Cove bit at 8 PM, realising this was some event thing after hours. I went in and spoke to everyone before playing darts a few times and winning a bunch of golden walnuts. I think 3 in total. I fished up the last stingray and started on the lionfish. I did, however, run out of time for the day, so got to bed, ready to continue tomorrow. All the remaining lionfish done, and I collected my reward of 2.5k. I went back to spend my 2 tickets I had, netting a new funky looking plant and 8 mega bombs. Back on the farm, I knocked up some tree fertilizer and slapped it on the bad boys as they were taking ages to grow. Bedtime was nice. Nearly 90,000 profit. Hey Willie, thanks for the tank, mate. And finally, a fish pond was prepped in my middle section as I planned. Alright, it was time to finally go up to the witch's house bit and see what's up. Whilst in there, I fished up my very first void salmon and gave the goblins some void mayonnaise that I also fished up. Very lucky. Once inside, I found the magic ink stuff for the wizard. Then out the back was some kind of shrine where I could basically get plastic surgery for a small fee. I took the ink back to the wizard and he was delighted. He also explained some new book he has where I can spend various bits building some totems on the farm. Before going off to bed, I had a mystery point to use, so I unlocked fishing, which gave me a new epic fishing rod and a chance for golden chests while fishing. Day 194 blessed me with bitter harvest on Ginger Island, and it was now I realised I'm only one golden walnut away from seeing behind that door. I went to re-enchant my new fishing rod for the auto catch, then read the book from the dwarf to make bombs not hurt me as much. That night it was Halloween festival in town, so I went and bought the jack-o'-lantern recipe from the stall, and then made my way around the maze to find the prize ticket at the end. I went off to bed after thinking about that damn door. In the morning, I fed a goat another golden cracker and got to work on some of that hardwood. I popped the ticket to get 5 mystery boxes that went to fish for a bit on Ginger Island, getting me a puffer fish. Every day I come looking for this damn bone artifact thing, but fail. For the rest of the day, it was about giving gifts and then spending a bit of time cooking up stuff in the kitchen for the achievements and checklists. A lovely profit to end on at least as well. Morning, Em. It's winter, baby. The raccoon wants bug meat and coral. Then it was time to get this winter legendary that has evaded me so far. I popped a fishing buff meal and attached some bobbers to help, then fought until the glacier fish was mine. Another one ticked off. I also grabbed a sturgeon from the lake for my pond and took the largemouth bass to Jodie and Kent for dinner. We had a lovely time chatting and catching up over some fish. Then back at the farm, I went into the barn to see my ostrich egg had hatched. Ollie is fitting, I think. I also had a large batch of pumpkin juice ready and brewed up in the shed. And a good night it was this time. Ostrich made me happy. On day 197, I farmed at the greenhouse hall and then went on a mad one clearing out more of the farm area. I still was a bit undecided on where I wanted everything to go in the future. I had quite a lot saved up that needed Clint's busting skills to crack open, so that's exactly what I did. I netted a fair bit and then went to bed with nothing else to report for the day. In the morning, I finally got around to making sure my house was fully upgraded, costing 65k and 100 hardwood. Then I went to see the raccoon and give over the goodies to finish that one up. I got a huge jungle tank for the effort. Then at Marnie's, I noticed she was selling this animal catalogue thing. I think I want to get into more animals eventually, but for now, that's it of any importance for the day. It was day 199, so I got more barrels done and also had a lovely beer harvest to grab. Absolutely glorious. After, it was time for another load of starfruits as I would need to save for these obelisks. I gave the pufferfish over to Demetrius, farmed for the artifact, and worked with my animals for a bit as they were providing a lot of items from the crackers now. A nice cool 35k to boot too. On day 200, a quest was there for an iridium bar for the wizard, and I finally managed to finish the jungle shrine puzzle with the last gem, which I guessed, by the way. Here we go, the moment of truth to it all. Mr. Key, again, was inside. He's a bit of a loony, but I do like him. He told me some stuff, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, who would have thought all this was in the game, eh? I also noticed this perfection tracker, which scared me, as there was still a lot to do. What do you think of my progress blind so far? I also grabbed the Keys Prismatic Grange Challenge, and my farm was ready with a truckload of starfruit too, so I was mega excited. And back on the farm, I chopped down all of the hardwood that had grown and replaced the seeds whenever I could. Right now, though, thank you so much for joining me so far on this epic journey. Be honest, how do you think I'm doing? And keep in mind, I've tried to keep it as blind as possible and figure it all out. If you could just like the video and subscribe if you aren't already, that would be fantastic. And do check out the options in the description on how you can support me further. Have a fantastic day. Lawns out.